to Ngosi talk shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nomsa Clara Mnube. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Show. So with me today, I have Kamal Amer. Kamal, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Nomsa. For all of you watching who are going to watch us later on, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Ngosi Talk Show. My name is Kamal Amer. I am a certified NLP trainer, master practitioner, hypnotherapist, and a certified life purpose specialist. And what I do is I find joy and happiness actually in helping people live a more satisfying and fulfilled life by uncovering their purposes in life using ancient Egyptian techniques as well as NLP. And with all those techniques together, we bring them to the modern world for you to live a purposeful and fulfilled life.
Thank you so much, Kamal. So today is basically Nomsa with Kamal Amer to find out how to find courage, strength, and leadership, because you've gone through this journey, Kamal, as a life balance coach, NLP trainer, master, practitioner, and hypnotherapist. Basically, with your passion, and you've just opened a martial arts school, and you are a father of two wonderful children. I wouldn't leave your children behind anywhere. So, and you are a world traveler, a child of a great, who comes from a great multicultural background with a 14 years experience of customer service, and a very successful person who has gone through challenging times. So that's why you've gone through challenging times, because there's no such thing as overnight success. So we all have to go through something to be able to be where we are today. So I just want to basically tell us about your background, Kamal. Your siblings. I'm interested with your background, your siblings, your dad, your mom, and what made you decide to do what you do today. Basically, I'm being nosy.
Oh, absolutely. That's your right. And I guess this is why I'm being interviewed, right? So let me start from the beginning. I've got two sisters, Miriam and Sarah. They are about 8.5 and 9 years younger than me. And they both live in France. My mom's in France, my dad's in Egypt. They're not separated. It's just that COVID and life situation and all of that. So they're stuck in different countries for the time being.
How long has your dad been in Egypt?
Oh, my mom used to live there. So he's still doing some work. Like, he's a sound engineer.
All right.
He's actually a famous sound engineer in Egypt and kind of the Middle East. So he has his work and his part-time teachings and work that he does. But the plan obviously is hopefully that he will be able to move to France to be together with my mom at some point. But that aside, I come from, like you said, a very multicultural background. Both my parents are mixed. They're half-halves. We have lived all over the world. I grew up, my first years before teenage, I grew up between France, England, and Egypt. Lived in Dubai for about 4.5 years, and then I've been living here in Norway for 9 years now. So we are quite well traveled. I have also worked as a cabin crew for Emirates Airways, so that means that I did travel the world, and I did experience many cultures and was in contact with so many people from all around the world. Now, from a very young age, my mom could actually see that I had very specific and defined communication skills and expressive ways for people to understand me, which helped me along the road, because one of my first jobs, as I was supposed to be working for a Microsoft account, or it's a Microsoft account in a call center, right?
Yep.
And I was supposed to be there as just a customer service representative, but within 6 months, they actually took me specifically to become the main trainer or coach, right? And that time it used to be a trainer, right? The main trainer for the whole account in all of the languages. So I was coaching in English, French, Arabic, Italian, and then I also coached the Spanish team, but it was in English, obviously. And I coached the Portuguese team, the Hebrew team, and the Greek team, of course. And then after that, I started coaching other trainers that were there. So from the very start, I was pushed into that coaching or training field.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it. And I said in my mind, I was 24, 25, I think, 24 maybe. And at that time I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to train people. I want to be able to teach people and educate them on whether it's a job, whether it's leadership, whatever it is, skills that they want in their life. Meanwhile, I was practicing martial arts. I practiced karate, judo, tai chi, and kickboxing. So, and since the age of 10, after the first year of karate, I said one of my dreams was to open a dojo for myself.
Yeah.
So that is basically it, coming up to this stage in my life after my divorce, or actually even after the separation. It was a big move for me. It was a big realization, right? And before that, even marriage, I had already in my mind had read about NLP, about coaching, and I was like, oh, this sounds like this is what I want to do. This is what I want to study.
Yeah.
But then through that marriage, I couldn't, or I wasn't able to, or lots of things. You don't need to go into these details. And then as soon as that separation happened, I had the opportunity. And so I studied, and I excelled actually very well at it in my studies, going even faster than the normal and average pace. And I was put there. That's where I found myself. That's where I realized that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is how I feel good, because I am helping others. And these are part of my values as a person. So that's a quick, short version.
So basically, you actually figure out where you wanted to go, and you figure out you worked out your purpose basically in life, why you were here, which is some people, they struggle to actually find their purpose.
Right.
So what advice can you give someone right now who want to go for their dreams, but they're scared of the unknown, and they're scared of, because before I ask you these questions, when you told your family about your purpose, what was their reaction to that?
Well, okay, funny anecdote. Since I was 4 years old, I wanted to be an architect. And I think around the age of 8 or 9, my mom had a visitor at home in France who was a numerologist, I believe.
Yeah.
And she asked my mom what my numbers were, and she did my numerology. And then she asked my mom, so what does he want to do when he grows older? And my mom said, he wants to be an engineer. So that lady answered back and told her, that's the wrong field for him. He has to work with people. So my mom already knew that, but I didn't know that story. My mom told me that story about a couple of years ago or last year, something like that.
Yeah.
So when I told my mom, look, this is what I want to do, she was like, oh, interesting. She told me the story. And she actually, at the same time, as much as she supported me, she also said, well, you lost your job as well. Can't you just look for another job at the same time as you're doing this coaching? And I said, look here, I don't want to work in the corporate field anymore. I don't want to work for somebody. I'm going to work for myself. I have faith in what I'm doing. And no matter what happens, it will sort itself out. Once I said that, she said, that's fine. I'm supporting you. And she never disagreed. And my dad, he was the same thing. He was supportive. He said like, okay, that's good. Go for what you want to do. So coming back to that advice that you want me to give people, which I rarely do, is that comes from my mentor, Steve McVeigh. And he told this anecdote that I shared with you before about that scared little girl that wanted to jump from the high board. And her mom told her, be scared, do it anyway. And that's the same thing that I would tell anybody that wants to go for their dreams. Be scared, do it anyway. Fear will only prevent you if you allow it to. You can have still fear of doing things, but bear in mind that whatever the outcome, it will never be a failure. It will be an attempt at learning. Remember, fail, first attempt in learning.
That's true.
So that would be my advice.
That's true. Success comes out of failure. You have to fail sometimes before you can succeed. There's so many people who are billionaires. When you read their stories, they have failed so many times. When they're telling their stories, how they got to where they are today, you'll be like, oh wow, but I only saw the miracle. I didn't see behind the scenes. So that is really big. Who was your big influence, your dad or your mom? Your journey. Somebody has to. You got to have one.
There is always.
You see, I basically designed this interview based on your personality.
Yeah.
So who was your big influence?
My biggest superhero in this world is my mom. And every second of my life, I thank her. And I love her very much. And I know no matter what I do, she's very proud, even though she has kind of a baton in her hand or a stick to whip my bum when but she's probably listening. So Mom, thank you very much for all the support and all the help and all the pushes and putting me in my place. I love you very much.
Putting up with you, putting up with Kamal.
Oh my God. Like the stories, we're going to keep those stories aside so nobody takes these as examples of and doing it to their parents.
Yeah.
But I was a handful. I wasn't easy.
That is good because you now I can see you with the Ngozi Talk Show. You're not just there to actually do your work and go. You're actually putting your mind and your energy into it, it makes a big difference when someone is in it to actually to say, I want this, I'm hungry for this. You can tell that, wow, this person, they know what they want, and that's why basically the opportunity is there. So how do you keep watering the tree in your life, wanting more of success and maintaining it? For me, basically, I believe that every successful person, there is a tree with roots behind that person that you have to keep watering. So how do you maintain it?
So here's the trick with the roots of your tree is that the foundation, the roots have to be very strong. And these roots, they stem from the people that you surround yourself with. They also stem from your core values, what they are, and living in alignment with who you truly want to be and who you are inside, right? A lot of people unfortunately, yes, they seek success and they're very successful people, but they are in a state where they are in compromise with their very core values. That creates a little bit of incongruence in themselves and their psyche, right? They don't feel at ease. Now, I still do feel not at ease here in Norway because it's not a very congruent, they don't have very congruent values as I have, right? My values are very different. So what I do is I live by my values as long as I'm not harming anybody. And living by your values, your values, not your parents, not your teachers, not your mentors, not societies, your own values will help you reach the stages of life that you want to. As long as you're not stepping on anybody's toes, as long as you are direct, honest, and have a degree of integrity. Now, a lot of people talk about integrity and they say, oh, we have integrity and all of that. Well, integrity means that you have to stand up for what is right and what is wrong, no matter who the person is. An example of integrity, for instance, is my mom. I'll give you my mom as an example. If I ever do anything wrong against the law, she will be the first one to pick up the phone and hand me over. No, there is no discussion in that.
Yep.
And when my children, both of them, grow older, I will not protect them from anything that they have done wrong. It is not my job. My job is to protect them now when they're growing older, up until they're capable of standing on their feet. After that, I'm there as their support. I will support them. I will help them. But if they do something wrong, they have to bear the consequences.
Yeah.
So each one of us bears the consequences of their choices and their life. So you want to be successful, no matter how you define success, right? Doesn't have to be, whether it's being a millionaire, whether it's being a successful parent or a husband or a wife, being successful at teaching others or taking care of others. That is your own definition. Make sure that your roots, your core values, the people that you surround yourself are of the same mentality, that they care for you the same way that you care for them, that you care for the same outcome of this world. And that's when I started to find peace of mind and that success in my life. So
that is amazing. Basically, who you're surrounded by it determines your future. Basically, you just have to make sure you're surrounded by the right tribe, because there are some people that not everyone that is in your life, they actually celebrate you. So that's all you need to know. And sometimes even those people that don't celebrate you, when they see you succeed, they want to actually come to your life, and because they don't want to lose out of something. So you just have to use your instinct and also your values as well. You know your values, so like what you say, use your values. So thank you so much. So this is I'm just basically enjoying this interview. So tell me a story about your mom that has helped you to become who you are today.
a story about my mom that has helped me become.
You see, since you came to the talk show, I've been watching your family. Your family actually, they are big fan. They support you. I see them all the time. They're popping in. The first time when you came to, when you were doing Ngozi talk show, actually, that's when I saw your mom. Yeah. So I know they're big fan.
Yeah, no, they are big fans, and they always comment on, okay, you should have done this, maybe talk this way. So I've learned a bit. And my mom actually is considered well, not a superstar, but she's considered famous in Egypt because she made the ad. You know, the cleaning product, Mr. Clean?
Yeah.
But so she was the figure of Mrs. Clean in Egypt.
All right.
So,
okay, I'm sure I will meet her one day at Ngozi talk show.
So, but one thing that she did that, look, my mom has been a mother, a father, an uncle, a grandmother, a grandfather for me throughout my life. My biological father was very rarely in the picture. They divorced when I was 14, 15, I think. And then my dad came into the picture. Who is my stepdad, but I call him that. And
Obviously, he's your dad. I never call my stepdad
yeah,
stepdad.
that's
I
it.
call-
So he's dad, right? He's my dad. And
Oh my God, she's here.
oh, what? Oh, good God. Okay.
She says, I would love to meet you. I said, I would love to meet her. She says, I would love to meet you.
Like I said, like we had a lot of time together alone. You know, there's 8.5 years difference between my middle sister and myself. And throughout those years, we were constantly alone. And constantly, I mean, that's very relative. But most of my memories are with her alone.
Yeah.
In London, in Wales, in France.
When did you guys live in London?
Oh, I was about 3-4 years old.
Okay.
4.5. Yeah, so about a year and a half, something like that. And one of the greatest things is the energy and the power that she had to constantly be dedicated and work super hard to just provide for us and make us comfortable and be able to live, right? The interesting thing is that she grew up in a wealthy family, not wealthy, but in a very comfortable lifestyle, right?
Yes.
And when she left her house, her parents' house, she decided to live on her own terms, and her own terms without the help of her parents. So she lived a very, I'm going to say, a survival mode life, right?
Yeah.
We were very poor at times, and we had to go to the social security and or welfare and get these boxes of canned foods to eat to survive for the month. And I used to climb on the public trees and get apples and pears and plums, all of those. So that's how bad it was for us, right? At some point. But she never lost faith. She never gave up. And she had faith in God and in herself, and that things would work out. I've seen her several times crying and completely burned out, but
Yeah.
she pushed on. That was the biggest thing that I've learned from her, and I've applied it so far.
I'm sure. I'm sure your mom. She's a very, very strong woman. With she. You know, when you have faith in life, some people don't understand how much faith can keep you going. So I believe that she's a woman with faith who understands faith and hope, what it means to have faith, and also having you guys and looking at you guys. She knew her big why. When a parents knows their big why, so that means they will do anything to survive, to make sure that you guys are well fed. So thank you so much for that. I'm connecting with you when you guys, you speakers, when you come and speak in Ngozi Talk Show. I'm not just listening to what you're saying. I'm watching your families when they come here and they support you, and I ask questions. I'm very nosy. I'm very sneaky as well.
I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, we were lucky today that. I was lucky actually that it was only me, so that gave you the opportunity to interview me, right? And I'm sure it will come upon for the others to be interviewed in that way, and it makes it more personal, both for you, for me, and for the audience that are watching us, to get to know all of us better.
Yeah, yesterday I was like, it's just me and Kamal, so why don't I just give him an interview and get nosy, get more nosy? So tell me about your uniqueness. Where does that come from? Have you always been like this, or is something that changed, or does it come from your upbringing? Where does it come from? How did you actually trigger that to come out? Because you are actually a unique person. I'm not just saying it to make you feel better, Kamal. I've seen how you work. It's basically, it's like with the Ngozi Talk Show, I feel that you're part of the family. I don't see you as a speaker who just comes on and speak and then you leave. You are so unique in a way that you basically, Nkosi Talk Show is not about Nomsa, you are part of it, basically. That's how you're treating it, that I'm part of this, I'm creating this as Kamal. How do you say your surname, Emma or Amma? Emma. Okay, yeah. You are saying I am Kamal Emma and I'm creating this. This is the opportunity for me. So where does all this come from?
First of all, I'm very grateful that you consider me part of the family. It means a lot to me. And where does it come from? It's interesting. That question is part of how I uncovered my purposes in life, right? So I did my life purpose program. How I learned about it, I did it through my mentor, who is also my coach. He's also my teacher, my trainer, lots of things, right? And the interesting thing is that when we went through these purposes, we dig deep into your upbringing, the influences in your life, right? And your skills and your talents.
Yes.
And there was a constant thread between all of these things, which was, I like being center of attention, obviously. I like having the spotlight.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy the company of people, not everybody. And I like to help people. And that was a constant in my upbringing and growing up, right? Whether it's my parents, whether it was in schooling. The interesting thing as well is I was a nerd, but I was also very sportive. So I couldn't get bullied.
Yeah.
And but you see, there was that consistency throughout my childhood that meant that I could stand in public and speak. When there were like presentations in class, I used to stand and talk about them. I wasn't shy. But when it came to going out and partying and stuff like that, I was an introvert. I sat at home and I used to read and build my computer, like when we could build the computers and stuff like that, right? And so that was my upbringing, and all of that was still there. And I don't think I've shared that, but I had already started to write like an essay just for myself.
Okay.
About life purpose when I was 18 years old. So you see, the threads are consistent. They're consistent and they're constantly there throughout my childhood and growing up, even in my teenage and coming into adulthood. So I wrote an essay when I was 18, about 3 pages, and then I wrote a second essay when I was 26.
That's very interesting, Kamal.
About life purpose again, right?
Yeah.
So it's been there forever, and I think it's the combination of the people that I've met, the influences that I've had, as well as my upbringing at home with my mom.
That's amazing. That's really, really brilliant, because that's why you are NLP coach. You know how our mind works, that if you really, really want to know who you are, you have to go back to your childhood and relive the memories, because when we are children, we can do anything. If we get told, like myself, I studied music when I was very young. I don't remember one day when I go on stage and being scared. So I think basically what you've done, you just basically you followed your path, your talent. Basically, you recognize your talent from a very young age, and you stick to that. I hope someday I'll be actually, people will be like, oh, how did you meet Kamal? I hope you don't leave Nkosi Talk Show, basically.
I'm here for the long run.
I hope so, because you are actually you are playing a very, very important part in this community, and I hope that you teach more people, and you write loads of books as well. And one day we'll get to see you on stage with martial arts. Who knows? No one knows. Anything goes at Nkosi Talk Show.
Right.
So how did you figure out who you are supposed to be? Did you go to confused.com first, or?
No. The interesting thing is at some level, not only me, but everybody knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
One struggles to accept that. One struggles to let go of the chains of society.
Yep.
And the conditioning. And what's more interesting than that is that once you let go of that, your potential becomes unlimited. Your potential for, if you want to call it success, your potential for satisfaction in life, your potential for a fulfilling life becomes infinite. Because we have we have the keys to those change. That's the funniest, the weirdest, and the most idiotic thing that we humans do to ourselves, right? Now think of the elephants that are chained, right? When they are young, when they're just born, the elephants, they're chained with real chains, right?
Yeah.
And can't move from their spot. And then once they grow older, they change these chains and they just put a piece of rope, a rope. And that elephant can just, if he tugs that rope, that's it, it's done.
Yep.
But he has been conditioned, or it has been conditioned to think that this is a chain and it cannot break it. And that is what we humans do to ourselves, whether it's believing that we won't be able to get the gold medal in a sport, or believing that we cannot make money because people that make money are greedy and selfish, or all of these limiting beliefs. So to get back to your question, it was important for me to realize that I was myself from the very start, and I started to realize that I think 3 years into my marriage. So I had been with my ex for 2 years and then 3 years. So 5 years of being with her, or 4.5. I started to realize that that's not working for me. I'm not healthy. I'm psychologically manipulated. I have been living with a narcissist, basically. I was constantly walking on eggshells in my own house. I didn't feel right. I was living outside of the bounds of my core values. And once I started to realize that, I started to push myself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, until I wanted to have a discussion with her. And I mean, these are details that I don't need to share. And then after maybe another 6-7 months after these discussions, she asked for a divorce, and I said, okay, but I would like to go to like a family council just to discuss things. And she refused, because she doesn't believe that it's a constant thing here in Norway. They don't believe that people should go to psychologists.
I don't think it's just Norway. I think it's everywhere. Even
here.
Yeah, even with my friend, when she was going through problems, I said to her, have you ever thought of going to a counseling? You know, when someone tells you a story about what is going on in their marriage, and you see that actually nothing is going on, you both are selfish people who don't realize what you both have, because they are both the nice people and they have these wonderful children, and they are both amazing people that will do anything for anyone. But because, our character characters, we are different people. We just have to figure out how to deal with each other. So I was like, have you ever considered to go for counseling? And he was like, why do you go for counseling? Counseling is not for us. I was like, seriously? You know, basically in life, you're going to have to go and seek some help.
Exactly, right? And counseling, it doesn't have to be just the counseling, but it can be the help of anybody that knows you or can understand your situation. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that doesn't work here, for instance, in Norway. But that helped me actually in a bit, because I mean, it took me about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Until I started to gather my thoughts and be okay in a sense. And it took my dad to just give me that amazing sentence that made me realize that I had.
What was the sentence? You can't just tell us something and then you don't finish it. Tell us the sentence.
I'm going to finish it. Don't worry.
Okay.
So I was very, not, I'm not going to say depressed, but I was on the stages of falling into a depression, right?
Yeah.
And I was upset because I couldn't see my children every day. I couldn't wake up with them and prepare them and take them to school every day, missing that time with them, having lost my job, had been made redundant because of downsizing, lost my sense of family, my sense of self, basically.
Yeah.
The identity of being with a partner. And he told me that I wasn't reading the message.
Yeah.
And I asked him, well, what message is there then? He said, well, the message is time. You have been granted the gift of time.
Time, yes, to figure out who you are. I love your dad.
Time to figure out who you are, time to figure out who you want to become for your children, for yourself. Time to manage the time without your children so that when you have them, you enjoy that time. Time to see what kind of partner you want in your life. Time to figure out who and what you want to do in your life. You have the gift of time. And that clicked in within two weeks, and I started studying like crazy. So I think that answers your question.
Yes, I love your parents. I love parents who tell things as they are. And also, you know, basically we become who we are because of our upbringing and because of our parents as well. And also what we don't understand is it doesn't mean that there are some people who struggled, who had challenging upbringings. It doesn't mean that your life, you can rewrite your own story. So I'm glad that your dad made you realize that actually your marriage did not work the way you expected, because you were used to having kids every night. You were used to come home and just have cuddles whenever you want. So your mind didn't accept changes. But basically the changes were there. I'm glad that he kicked your bottom and to say, get up and get real. So basically I was saying, get real. This is an opportunity for you to grow, not to mop, to feel sorry for yourself. So thank you so much to your dad. Yeah. So your authenticity and honesty has allowed me to connect with you and to be your big fan as well. What advice could you give to someone who wants to be successful, achieve things they want in life? Like you are lucky you have had your parents, and some people, they don't have what you have. So what advice can you give them?
See, I'm not a believer in luck.
Yeah.
I am a believer in fortune that you set forward for yourself.
Yeah.
The advice that I can give people to be successful in whatever they want to is actually read.
Your mama, I just love your mama. I heard this. She's saying, my famous quote that I say to my kids is, nothing is impossible. And where there is a will, there is a way. I heard this so many times this morning, every motivational audio that I was listening. Yeah. Where there is a will, there is a way.
There's one thing though that I'd like to add to that quote, is that you have to be aware of the limitations that you are putting to yourself and how you are not going to step on people's toes.
Yeah.
Because when there's a will, there's a way has that connotation of no matter what happens, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
But be respectful, with honesty, with
Yes.
directness, with being fair, right? There, lots of people are very successful, but they're crooks or they're liars. Is that the way you want to live your life? If it's the way you want to live your life, it's up to you. I am not judging you. I am talking to those that want to live an honest, authentic, truthful life, balanced, right? Like Ma'at, you see Ma'at, the goddess, she's the goddess of truth, honesty, balance, justice, and order. If you want to live by these values, if you want to live a life that is straight as an arrow, like they say, have these values and find the will and the ways to do what you want to do. There are always choices most of the time. Like sometimes we believe we don't have choices, but there are choices when it comes to life.
That's so true.
Not telling you to quit the job that you're in to go and become a horse breeder. I'm telling you, take the necessary steps bit by bit. Know where you want to go first. Know that there's a goal, and then think about the steps that you need to take to reach that outcome. The outcome might be different. The outcome might be very as unexpected as you want it to be.
Yeah.
But take the initial steps, and if you don't like it, move and do something different. This is why I say I don't mind people that society considers as quitters. Oh, I studied psychology and after a year I quit that and I went into business administration. Then after a year I quit that and I went into engineering. So what? It doesn't matter. You are not finding yourself there. You are not finding reason behind that.
Yeah.
And usually what happens is that people at the end, they find reason in what they're doing. I tried to study 3 times for university degrees online, 3 different subjects. It didn't work. My heart wasn't in it. My heart was not in it.
What subject were you studying, Kamal?
I tried business I tried first, of course, engineering, architecture, right? And then business administration. And then I went into another department of business, right?
Yeah.
Look. And as soon as I opened that book of NLP,
Yeah.
it was like as if I was reading something that I understood, like that.
Yeah.
I didn't have any trouble. And then I started reading again into psychology, which is something I used to love since I was 18. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is simple. I understand that.
I love psychology. I love it.
So the plan is that hopefully at some point I will study psychology and get a bachelor's in psychology.
Go for it. I've gone
see,
through it. It's fun.
There's nothing wrong in quitting something because you don't find resolve in it, that you don't find reason behind it. There's nothing wrong with that, contrary to what society tells you. So that's my advice again.
And I've tried so many things. Oh my God, you're making me laugh. You're making me. I think about my dad when you're saying I've tried 3 things. My dad always said you need to know who you are. Just go for the things that you believe in, and don't just do it because the job pays or because just go for what you love. So Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How do you deal with mistakes in life or change? I know now you're dealing with change in a good way because of your dad.
There are no mistakes.
Yeah.
There are simply no mistakes. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So to deal with something that doesn't exist, it's redundant.
Mistakes is more like education, is it?
Let me explain it a little bit more. Any choice that you have made in your life has resulted in you being in this exact spot where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was, in your opinion, a bad or a good decision. If that decision had changed, you wouldn't be here. That's a probability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, was it a mistake that you got married and divorced? No, because you had your children. Was it a mistake that you went into football and you quit? No, because it brought you where you are today. Was it a mistake that I moved to Norway? Yes. No, it wasn't. Because I got my children. I was gifted with my children, right? And I was gifted with the connection that I have with you and the rest of the team on Kosi Talk Show and all of the other speakers.
Yeah.
Right. Perhaps if that move hadn't been done, none of this would have happened. So the problem now arises when people consider their choices as mistakes, rather than looking at them as experiences, as events that has shaped their current state. And from that current state, you can, again, change your future based on what you have learned if you decide to learn from your past events.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was, what was the quote? I'll remember it now. It will come, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, there are too many quotes in my head. But that's the whole point of living with mistakes or living with regret. One shouldn't have any regret, because every decision that you've made, you made it based on the knowledge that you had at that point in your life. You couldn't do better. There is no way you would have done better because you did not have the knowledge. Today, you have the knowledge of your past, and you have the knowledge and the skills to do what you can do today. So make the choices that you consider better for yourself now. Even after 10 years, if you realize that, no, it wasn't a very good choice, it doesn't matter. That's the best that you could have done. So that's how I live with my attempts in learning in life.
No mistakes. That's what I always say to my mind when I meet someone and things don't work out, and I always say to my mind when you start bringing negativity, I'm like, please don't remind me of what you think I've done wrong. I have to embrace meeting this person. There was a reason why I met this person. Let me hold on to good memories. I need to embrace the lesson that I've learned through this person and not the mistakes. I don't want to think about the mistakes.
That's it.
So how do you help as an NLP coach? Because this is what you do for living. This is what it helps you. You basically, you change people's lives. That's what you do. So how do you help your kids to grow each and every day?
So the interesting thing as an NLP trainer and a coach as well, I've been teaching my children NLP for the past year already. So my son now is 6 and my daughter is 4. And for the past year, I've been teaching them NLP skills and techniques. One of the things is that, for instance, we have in NLP, you have something called an anchor, right? You can have physical and you can have auditory and visual anchors. And these anchors are like glimpses of things that happen that remind us to do something. You know, for instance, that ding of your microwave. As soon as that happened, what do? You get up and you go and open the microwave, right? That's an anchor. That's an auditory anchor.
Yeah.
When you see the red light of the traffic light, you push the brakes. That's a visual anchor, right? Now, I have these anchors with my children at the entrance of the door. I have like LED lights and I make a sound at the same time. So as soon as if they were angry or upset or tired in the car when I'm picking them up, as soon as I open the door and they pass through, I made that sound, and then they see the light, and that threshold of the door puts them in a state of happiness and laughter, because that's what I anchored it. That's the emotion that I connected it with. I told them, as soon as you pass that threshold, you see the light and you hear that sound, you're going to be happy, you're going to be smiling, and you're going to laugh, and you're going to enjoy your time, right? And for that 5-10 minutes, of course, they're still young, they have that sense of, and laughter, and oh, we're happy, and all of that. And they take off their clothes and they put everything, they hang their stuff, so that movement or that coming into the hallway of the house makes it easier for me and for them to proceed with everything without any fights, you know? So that's one of the things. I am teaching them how to live through their emotions, understand them, but at the same time not be a slave to their emotions. That they can understand their feelings, but they express it outwardly differently. So lack of tantrums, lack of anger, on all of that. I tell them, if you're angry or you're upset, take your time, have your corner, learn how to breathe. So I've taught them breathing techniques so that they can control their crying. Not that they stop, that they don't cry. Don't tell them, no, don't cry. It's just, you can cry if you're hurt.
Yeah, you have to let it all out.
You let it out. If you're hurt, cry.
Yeah.
But if you're not hurt and somebody said a bad thing to you, there's no point crying. So breathe it out, and they have the technique, right? It's 3 deep breaths in, and then they count to 5.
Yeah.
And then they can come and discuss things with me. And if they're going to start like whining and stuff, okay, go again, get your 3 breaths in 5 seconds and come back again.
Yeah.
So that we can have a proper discussion. And we discuss things a lot. We talk about things. That's what I teach my children, because I want them to be in control of their mind, right? This is also techniques that we have in martial arts. It's mind over body, mind over matter.
Yeah.
You have control over your mind. You can control the outcome of your behaviors.
That is so true. That is so true. I think your children are going to grow up and be who they want to be. It does help, because my grandmother used to teach me so many things when I was growing up. And now when I'm actually fighting with somebody, I actually have to evaluate that argument. Is this argument basically for me, or is there something that is triggering this person that they are already going through? So I have to refuse to actually get involved and find out why they are behaving the way they are behaving. So thank you so much for that, Kamal. So you are an NLP coach, and you've just opened your karate school. Tell us what drives you and what is your next chapter in life. I'm just being nosy. Basically, this interview is for me being nosy.
That's the thing that I like. Just so that the audience know, this is very unscripted. I made sure that Nomsa takes her questions out of the blue that I don't know. I have not read the questions that Nomsa has.
I actually am glad that you gave me the opportunity to ask you the questions, because I find it when someone gives me questions, they always give me questions based on what they know. It doesn't give me to go wide, and so people can learn more about you. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to actually being nosy, because I had to go to your website and find out, and then I thought about your family, because I've seen your family every time we are doing live. They always pop in and support you, and your sister Sarah. Who is the oldest, you or your sister?
No, I'm the oldest of the 3.
Oh,
so
okay. Okay.
So, but no, thank you as well for that. It makes it more genuine and authentic. So back to your question, what drives me is actually seeing a better place to live, with people that have more compassion for each other, and that can learn and understand that this is a process that we go through in life. That's one of my drives. That is one of my protocols in life, right? It's I would love people to live life more fulfilled and more satisfied.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be happy, because happiness, they can have it whenever they want to.
Yeah.
But satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment, people don't know how to achieve that. So
you have to work hard for that.
Or not. Actually.
Yeah, you have to work hard within to fulfill that.
You can, but at the same time, you can be also content and fulfilled with what you have right now. And that's also hard work, as you said. So, but back to the other thing, the next chapter is hopefully once we start opening it up, that we can go all together and travel and do some seminars and speeches around the world, in England and France, wherever it may be that we are going to be going, right? I am actually working on a book, but I just started, so I don't want to spread it out. So it's still got some time, and I just started. I just wrote not even a chapter. It's just like an introduction kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the next chapter, and hopefully the more people I get so that I can help them to live a more satisfying and uncovering their purposes in life, because it's sad to see people going to work from 9 to 5 and having no sense of direction in life. They're just doing that because they have to do that, and because they're taking care of their kids, and then once their kids leave, they don't know what they're going to do with their life. So I would love for many more people to have purpose in life.
Awesome. So, you know, Brenda has a publishing company.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so when you're ready,
I know, when I'm ready, it's still
you are surrounded by the right tribe.
Exactly.
So
right?
yeah, so good luck to that. She's a lovely person, Brenda. I love her.
Yeah.
We had a virtual meeting the other day, Zoom coffee for 15 minutes. Yeah, she's lovely.
Oh, that's nice.
So the desire for you, the desire to create change in the community, where does it come from, and what's the trigger? What triggers it? Because you basically want to change. You have created the thing that we do once a month, asking people to come and ask you questions. So that means that is the changing. That means basically you are hungry to actually change people's lives. So what triggers that?
It's I think it's part of being an empath. Like I cannot watch the news because I just cry. And it's taken me a lot of work to have these barriers and boundaries with myself and others. But I can see there's so much potential in people. There's so much love, and there's so much untapped feelings and emotions and thoughts that people refuse to go through because they are just living that day to day, and they have no sense of existence. Like my first question, if I'll share it with you today, the first question that I put in my essay when I was 18, of course, excuse the cynicism, right? What makes you deserving of the oxygen that you breathe? You see, we are on this planet and we are breathing precious air. There's a reason for your existence. There's a reason behind, whether you believe in God or not, that doesn't make any difference, because even as nature doesn't, if you're a naturalist, right? And you say nature created everything, fair enough. Nature doesn't create anything without a reason, without a purpose. There is not a single living thing on this planet or in the universe that has no meaning or purpose. So you as a human being, you are living day in, day out, just to exist for no reason, just to have populate the earth and have just children and bring up more people and just waste energy and waste the materials and the raw materials of the planet and just kill plants and kill trees and break this and do that just for your own amusement. Come on, don't be that arrogant. If you believe that like this nature created you, then there's a reason behind that. You can't be just existing for no reason, just to waste away.
That is so true, 100%.
So that was my biggest trigger, because I met so many people that had no sense of reason behind life. They would say, I live for today and that's it, and I live this life for this life, or I live because I'm here, so I deserve to get all of that. No, you don't. There are reasons for your existence, even if your reason is just to be the most pathetic and annoying person in the world. Right? Your existence means something to somebody else. Your existence, even if you are a narcissist, even if you're a psychopath, and the most terrible things that you can imagine, your existence has a reason for somebody or a third person or millions of people. So don't be arrogant and believe that I'm going to live the way I want to live. So that was my trigger in from a very young age. But then growing older, I realized that a lot of people need help, but they don't know how to accept it. They don't know how to reach out and say, please help out. And this is also one of the reasons why I started to make this monthly free coaching, right? Where people can come. Anybody's more than welcome. They have questions, they ask the questions, and I answer the questions. And if somebody wants to have a quick, fast coaching session, I don't mind delivering it then. But that's why I made this.
Yes.
People can get some sort of relief or answers that they've been looking for. And of course, that's based on only my experience and my knowledge. There's plenty of fascinating and interesting people that have many more different and interesting answers than what I have. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. So for you to be here today and successful, there must have been some pain in your life, but you managed to laugh through it and maintain your success. How did you manage to laugh at your pain? Because when somebody walks through the pain, that means you are laughing. When you get down and you refuse to get up, that means you are not laughing at your pain. But when you are able to lift yourself up, that means to me it's love. So tell us, how did you manage to do that, to be here today?
I'll say it in a very simple way, hopefully. The biggest challenge in life is being in competition with yourself yesterday. And if you succeed at being better today than you were yesterday, then you are in constant growth. And so your mistakes or your pain from yesterday can be laughed at. So that's how it works for me, I guess.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm trying to finish all my questions for my audience's sake. How do you regain your composure when things don't go according to your plan?
I look to the sky and I say, thank you for what you have given me, because this is your choice, not mine. Very simple.
That was very simple.
I'm a person of faith, and it took me a while actually to have that faith.
Yeah.
I've always believed in God, but about a year and a half ago, I sat down, I prayed, and I told him, you're in charge. I will not discuss anything. Whatever you bring my way, I will accept it. So thank you.
Let your way be your way.
I don't want to hold the reins anymore. I don't want to force myself to believe that I can hold the reins of anything.
I used to think I was in charge with my life, but then I realized actually I'm not in charge. Like you realize.
The only things that we are in charge of is me waking up in the morning to be able, or actually even waking up in the morning, I'm not in charge of that, right?
Yeah.
But after I wake up is that I can get myself dressed, sit on my computer and do the necessary work that I have to do.
Yeah. He's also in charge to make sure you're safe and everything. Right? Yeah.
All of that is it's his business. It's not mine. So I have faith, and that's how things work out at the end.
Faith and hope. Thank you so much. What separates you from other coaches?
The same thing that separates me from any other person. We are all unique and different. We have there are many amazing coaches and people around the world, right?
Yeah.
And great mentors and teachers. And I cannot compare myself, or I will not actually compare myself to others, because everybody is very different in their way of expressing themselves in coaching and in training even.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I could say that is different is that the people that will connect with me will work with me, and those that don't will work with somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a connection thing. It has nothing to do with me being better or worse, or we're all very unique. You as a relationship coach, as a matchmaker, you are very specific in your way. I am very confrontative. I confront people with the truth that they don't want to hear. And if I don't like what I hear, I tell them off. I say, no, this is bullshit. This is rubbish. Take your money and leave. If you're going to continue on that road, take your money and leave. I'm not going to coach you. It's very simple. I'm following the rules, the instructions that my mentor told me. Never work harder than your client. If I find myself working harder to help a person because they don't want to help themselves, that's it. I'm done.
I think your job as a coach is to speak the truth, not to make your clients get comfortable, because if they get comfortable, they're not gonna actually give you a review, because they're gonna go back to their bad habit. But if you coach them to do the work, basically, then they're gonna want to say, "Come on, I want to come back. I want more." And
right? Like, I've done the work that I needed to do to grow. Now it's your turn. It's none of my business if you don't want to. But yeah.
Who is your role model?
My mother, without a doubt.
Oh, bless her. I love her. Tell her I love her. I know she's listening.
I will.
Thank you so much, Kamal. And what is your big why in life? What drives you? The big why that drives you, that makes you get up in the morning, that makes you be here today.
My big why. Okay. Well, that comes back to the protocol that I've created for my life, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not complicated, but it's how do I put it? It's through the work that I made for my life purpose itself, right? And that protocol is how I want to live my life. So I will share it with you and the audience, because that is my why. And based on that, I use all of these, everything that is inside of that, I use it in every area of my life. So my big why is to be able to use my talents and my skills.
Yes.
To influence the lives of people around me through purpose and NLP, as a way to a harmonious and resourceful life aimed at a perpetuated ripple effect of peace and passion to the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal, for actually leading the team at Nkosi Talk Show. I actually appreciate you. I appreciate all your hard work that you guys are putting up to the show, and each and every day, you don't realize that actually you are the reason why this talk show goes on and on and on each and every day. There are some speakers that don't know how much I appreciate them, and you are one of them, because when you actually show up and you turn up, you could easily say, I'm gonna use this 1 hour sitting on the couch and watching TV, but you actually choose to actually give me that 1 hour at Nkosi Talk Show and give the community 1 hour to actually empower them. So I just want you guys, I want you to know personal that I appreciate you, and I hope someday that we're gonna look back and laugh and say, wow, look at where we used to be, and looking at our videos, how we make the videos, because we are growing. We're not going to just stay like this. Things are changing each and every time. So hopefully one day we're just going to look back and say, look how we used to broadcast, and look at how we are broadcasting now. So thank you so much for actually giving me this time today. And I appreciate you, and thanks to your parents as well for helping you to become the person that you are today. And hopefully your mom, she will continue. I would like to her one day. I'm hoping that she'll come to Ngozi Talk Show one day, as you promised, remember. So I know she will one day.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much to our audience who are actually watching this talk show. We are here Monday to Friday. And if you are watching and you love, please press the button, share some love with everyone else, because this is something that we do each and every day. So thanks, Kamal, and live with grace, everyone. And thank you, Mommy Kamal's mom, for actually raising this man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nomsa.
Your mom, she's watching anyway.
Yeah.
she's a big fan. So is there anything, Kamal, you like to leave with our audience?
I just want to thank all the audience and you personally for allowing me to be part of this great team. And to the audience, live your life the way that you want to live it. Dig deep and find purposes in life through everything that you do, not just your career. That's my biggest wish for everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal.
Welcome to Ngozi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled with it.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Live from within, everyone, and the time has come for you to experience the unthinkable. And thank you so much, Kamal. Your mom, she left some kisses, she left some love to the world, and she loves you very much.
Thank you everyone.